Welcome to the ultimate guide to watch and learn from Grappling Instructionals. This is part 2. This is about how blue belts and purple belts should watch instructionals and how you learn best if you are at this level. So if you are a white belt, check out my first video, but if you are a purple belt or blue belt, this video is for you. So what to focus on if you are a blue belt or purple belt? I would say now things become more interesting. Now you can pick a bigger variety of topics, a bigger variety of videos than as a white belt, because now you already have a more or less complete understanding of the game. I'm not saying you're perfect, but you understand the main positions, you understand the main escapes, controls, submissions. You have already a game. And now it's time to change that game to the better. And as a white belt, I would say you're more going into the wide. You're learning all the important positions. You don't go too deep, but you learn all the important positions, some high percentage move from all of these positions, and that's it. As a blue belt and purple belt, now it's time to go into the wide, but also into the depth. What I mean by that is, now it's time for the details. Now you look at your mount escape and say, hey, why it's so hard to do it sometimes? Let's look at some details. Let's look at some mechanics. Now I appreciate them because now I already have a game. So that's one part of it. Look for videos specialized in a certain topic. Let's say you are great in mount escapes, for example, and you want to get even better, get some series which is only focused on this topic, not in wide, but in depth, that shows you all the different what-if scenarios, all the different counters to the counters, all the entries into submissions from the mount, whatever, escapes into leg locks, escapes into this and that, go focus on how to make your strength deeper. That's an important thing, and that's where the fun part comes in, because there are so many videos out there specialized for certain positions or certain submissions, and that is an interesting point for someone who is blue belt and purple belt. Also, I would say blue belt and purple belt means it's the level of creating game plans. Now it's not just escape, control, submission. Now it's more of submission attempt, the opponent doesn't allow the counters the attempt, you counter, he counter. It's a, vice versa game. And I think that's where all these what-if situations come into play. You go for an armbar, the guy is doing this, you counter it, the guy is doing this, you counter it again. So that is the part of blue and purple belt, becoming more sophisticated in your game, in your submissions, in your attacks, in your passing, in your escapes, whatever, From being a one-step guy who's just doing one step and then he has to pause, going to someone who is now chaining things together. And that's where, all these specialized videos come into play. And I would say, as a purple and blue belt, still focus a lot on your strength, on your good positions, but also focus a little on your weaknesses. Focus a little bit on the positions you don't like. But most of the time, focus on the positions you like and make them better. I would say, like the white belt stuff, go for one position at a time. So if you have, for example, a good armbar from the guard and you want to get better, you want to become better with armbars, even better than you are, then just get some armbar DVD or some armbar video series and work the whole stuff, work 3, 4, 5 weeks only armbars, and that's something that is really, really something you can do because you already have the basics, When you keep your basics and then put some time into one aspect of the game, you will become better. You will keep your level of basics and then you will excel in certain other aspects. And that is, in my opinion, the most important part as a blue belt and purple belt, keeping your baseline and then from there going into different directions and getting better. So, for example, you dedicate 2 months for arm locks from the mount, and then you dedicate 2 months for triangle chokes from the guard, and then you dedicate 2 months for side mount escapes, whatever, you know, you're keeping the level of technique you already have and you infuse new stuff. So that's when you really start picking the videos about certain positions, you know, specialized videos, and you are going really deep with certain positions. And of course, you want to go deep with the positions you like, you know, so it absolutely makes sense to say, hey, these are my favorite attacks, these are my favorite positions. I buy a lot of tapes, a lot of videos from these positions, because that's where how I can get better. And as a blue belt and purple belt, I would suggest you can mix up the teachers. You don't have to buy from one teacher. That doesn't make sense. You know, you are intelligent enough, you are experienced enough now to really learn from different sources and put it together into your game. You know, so also focus a little bit on your weaknesses. I would suggest to say, hey, what is my biggest problem? You know, not what is my worst position, but what is my biggest problem? What I mean by that is, what is the position I get stuck most of the time? You know, what is the position that does destroy my game, destroy my role? You know, what is the position I always end and then the fight is over for me? And that's the position or the situation you should focus on and you should try to get better at and buy some stuff to get better at. So, you know, I would say from 12 months, maybe focus around 8 to 9 months on the strong stuff, on your strengths, and 3 to 4 months on your weaknesses. That's how I would structure it at this level. When you train, basically when you watch it, it's the same. Watch it completely. Watch it once because you want to know what's on the video. So watch it once and be satisfied about, you know, knowing what's on the video, and then start cutting it down. I would say you can go a little more techniques per week. You might want to go from 4 to 8 techniques, you know, depending on your time frame. When you train it, same thing, you know, write it down if you can, put it on your smartphone, work on it, and the same like white belt stuff, you know, focus one position at a time. Don't mix it up, don't go crazy. Learn the game plan stuff, you know, go from A to B to C to D, connect things, train them in a connected manner. Anything else doesn't make sense at your level, you know. It's important to really, like I said, blue belt and purple belt is the time where you create your web, where you create your game plan, where you create your system of attack and defense, and therefore you need to infuse complex structures, you know. And that's why I always suggest to buy at this level. Don't buy mixed tapes, you know. Don't buy tapes where there are, you know, highlight tapes for my favorite moves or something. I don't think that's very good for at this level. Buy specialized videos, specialized on one topic, you know. That's something that is the best at your level, because you can really infuse complete parts, you know, complete systems or parts of your game into your A game. That's what I would say. The thing which is great as a blue and purple belt is that you have white belts now, and you can train with the white belts, and you can practice your new techniques when you spar with the white belts. And that's something I suggest, you know. When you spar, don't try these moves, these new moves, on the same level guys, you know. Try them on beginners. Don't go crazy, be nice, you know, don't hurt them, but play and be playful, but try to infuse these new moves in your game while training with white belts, because they are, on one side it's still a realistic sparring, but on the other side the pressure is very low and you have time to think and to you know, redirect things if things go wrong. So I strongly suggest to do the new moves in sparring while sparring with beginners and white belts. That's my advice for you when it comes to watching and learning from videos as a blue and purple belt. Hope it helps, and see you in part 3.